Boo! Did I scare you? Because with that jump scare, you pretty much just watched Curse of Llarona. Okay, so welcome to 31 Days of Horror, day number 3 in the Randy Moore and Jambo Shango's film channel. We are doing 31 days throughout October, and sometimes it's both me and Jambo, sometimes it's just Jambo, sometimes it's just me. And this is the first one with me on my own. And I have had the great pleasure of watching a movie from the Conjuring universe, the James Waniverse. I've heard it referred to the Waniverse, and it was called The Curse of Llarona. Now, I may be pronouncing this wrong. I am aware in Mexican 2 L's makes like a yes sound, so Curse of Llarona. I'm not very good at pronunciations. You're going to have to forgive me with that. I literally found out last week that my entire life, the reason that whenever I wrote the word Skellington, it never came up right in predictive text is because the word Skellington isn't actually Skellington. I just say it wrong, so my pronunciation is terrible to say the least. So, let me synopsise this movie for you. Basically, this is somewhere in the Conjuring universe. I think it talked a little bit about Annabelle. It kind of... I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me give you the actual story here. The Curse of Llarona, Llarona is how it looks like it's written. The Curse of Llarona is a Mexican curse, a Mexican horror story, a traditional tale, also known as the Weeping Woman. Now, the story, the legend is brilliant. It is so on the nose scary. If I was a kid and I was researching like horror stories and things like that, I'd be like, this is a good one. So basically, some woman, she got jealous of her husband because the husband loved the kids more than her, so she drowned him. And then she got so full of grief, she drowned herself. And she dead. And now she come back as a ghost and boo, she scares you. And in this film, she does it a lot by going... boo. Where'd the hand come from? That is a lot of what she does. Now, I don't know if this goes to the actual curse, but in the film curse of it, when she drowns the kids, the trees that saw her do it are, they're really upset. They don't like it. I mean, she pissed off those trees. And if there's one thing I know from watching M. Night Shyamalan's The Happening, you don't want to piss off trees because you'll get really bad movies if you piss off the trees. So these trees are really, really sad. And then jump forward in time, because this happened a while ago. Some woman, social worker, what's her name? Linda someone, Cardellini. Again, pronunciation, not sure. Linda Cardellini, you know her. She's really pretty, she's lovely, she's such a warming presence on screen. She's from Freaks and Geeks, probably really famous, from the live action Scooby-Doo movies. Lots of TV shows recently, Netflix one very recently about they killed her husband and his twin came out of that. She's a social worker. She's standing up for this woman who social services got some issues for, but when she goes around there, she says, no, I'll go in, don't let the police go in. She goes in, and then the kids are locked in a cupboard, and she's like, no, you can't do this, I'm trying to say you're a good mom, don't lock your kids in a cupboard. And she's like, no, leave them there, because she's trying to protect them from the curse of the Weeping Woman, because they're Mexican and she's not, she's American, so she don't believe that shit, does she? And then the curse is unleashed, and the curse follows her home, and the Weeping Woman starts jumping out. Boo. Our hands start appearing from places, and they come and grab her, and all that stuff that is meant to be scary. She then has to go and find someone to help, and this is when it kind of links to the Conjuring universe. It kind of sort of goes, the church says, we have people that can solve things. Obviously talking about Ed and Lauren Gain from The Conjuring. But that's going to take you too long. You know, they got a waiting list. They got their own movies going on over here. What we need to do is you need to go to someone that we used to work with in the church, but now we don't work with him at all. He's out on his own, doing his own thing. And this introduces Raymond Cruz. You will know him. If you don't know his name, you will know him from TV shows, Breaking Bad. I've seen him in some films as well, I think. And he's like, yeah, I can sort this out. And he does this trick with eggs that's utter bullshit that looks really bad to say that, yes, you're cursed. And then he takes them to a house and he hatches a plan to keep them safe by getting bits of the trees that saw the initial crime that are so sad. He scatters them around the room, and then the ghost of the weeping woman can't come in the room because of the trees that are sad and the bits of the trees. And then some more jump scares happen and the film finishes. And that's pretty much it. That's the synopsis. And I have probably made it sound more interesting than it actually translated to being. This is a poor movie. This is a very, very poor movie. I have not seen a horror movie this bad for quite some time, if I'm completely honest. Wow. Now, we have to do our likes. So what did I like about this film? I liked the main character. I like Linda Cardellini. I like her. I find her warming and everything. She's a good screen presence. Gone the usual funny, quirky side that she brings to films. She plays it quite straight. Yeah, she's fine. She's fine. What else did I like about it? There was one set piece to do with an umbrella floating towards the water where I actually went, I'm interested here. This is kind of intriguing. I know there's going to be a jump scare at the end of it, but the setup for this jump scare is actually quite interesting. It wasn't, by the way. What didn't I like about it? Pretty much everything else. So this film is just a big bag of cliches. And let's go for the very essence of what is wrong with it. It is a jump scare-a-thon aimed at tweens to try and scare them. And I don't believe it will even work for them, because there are a lot of films like this, Lights Out, many of the Annabelle movies, also from the Conjuring universe, that are not great, but they're at least engaging. The story gets you into it, and some of the jump scares then make you go, huh. If anybody jumped more than once watching this film, they have never seen a horror film. And if you couldn't see the jump scare coming, you've never seen a horror film. It was just a bag of cliches put on top of each other. Ooh, well, I was waiting for the cat to jump out. It didn't, because that would have made the film interesting, because you would have been like, oh look, there's a cat. But no, it didn't have that. Instead, it had the acting wasn't that bad, but it had badly written characters doing stupid things that you knew were going to happen because you've seen them in better films before. And that's just scraping the surface of what was wrong with this movie. That was just the physical element of this being a bad horror film. This is a travesty of a movie from the Conjuring universe. And the Conjuring movie universe has its ups and downs. I mean, I love The Conjuring. The original James Wan The Conjuring, I think, is a masterpiece, a modern masterpiece, because of the way it brings in that 70s aesthetics and feels like a movie from another time done so well. And yes, it brings in all the cliches, but it does them well. And then you get the lows. The Nun is a very poor movie, and you got the Annabelles kind of kicking around there in the middle. I would say that The Curse of La Llorona is worse than the Nun, because at least in the Nun, it had a nice setting. It had a nice building to look around. And it had a pretty cool death bit going on at one point. But much like The Nun, you could not see a lot of what was going on in this film. Even in HD, it was like, come on, guys. I know you must have a budget because you attached the word produced by James Wan. Or maybe that's where the money went. Because there's no other reason that this film should have got made. The story sounds great. This Mexican folklore sounds brilliant. Why is this not a Mexican movie? I don't know. It's like you've got this Mexican story with Mexican actors that you've thrown a white woman into the middle of. The social services, no less, taking away Mexican children. And it just doesn't work. It kind of makes you go, this is a load of rubbish. And I'm not saying it's out and out racist, but it left me feeling a little bit like, why are we stealing their story? I mean, thinking about I've seen some brilliant Mexican horror films lately. The Tigers Are Afraid from the other year, really good, really scary. And if you want to talk about like bridging the gap between, you know, a Mexican horror movie with going into the American cast and stuff, check out Beelzebub with Tobin Bell, little like exorcism movie with one of the most horrific starts to any film I've seen in a long time. Then it kind of becomes national treasure and you lose interest before it comes back together. But they are much better films and feel much more inclusive. This film sucked. So I'm not really having a good batting average on these 31 days of fright yet. But The Curse of La Llorona, if you want to watch it, well, you don't. It's widely available, much more available than a lot of the other films that I'm intending to watch, and that's a shame because more people are going to watch this than some of the things that, you know, we know as horror fans are good. What can I say? It's one pumpkin. It's one pumpkin, and I'll give it that because I want to watch all the Conjuring universe movies. And I like Linda Cardillo, whatever her name is. Do you know what? It's probably not even worth a pumpkin. Just don't watch it. Boom! There you go. Scarier than anything in this movie. Anyway, I'm going to go and drown myself rather than think more about this film. See you there. Peace.